Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Disney because some pretty serious, I guess, unfolding events have been happening for them. Things that really affect them as a company, and of course being one of the biggest entertainment companies on the planet, this is pretty major news. And it actually could be revolving around a pretty major change to US copyright laws that would destroy Disney at least a little bit. If you didn't know, Disney's actually already kind of been in hot water recently with the US government. Just recently, Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida had signed legislation that basically stripped Disney of its autonomous and self-governing status. They basically were able to govern themselves at their theme parks in like Orlando, Florida or whatever. I don't actually know where Disneyland is, but that was a pretty major step. And then now, of course, there is proposed legislation now from Senator Josh Hawley, which would actually limit Disney's copyright protection for Mickey Mouse to 56 years. Now, if you didn't know, Disney for a long time now has basically been lobbying the federal government to basically give them special permissions with copyright. And the US government, in particular Josh Hawley, the senator here now, is trying to address this in what seems to be retaliation for Disney speaking out about the new law in Florida that people have been calling the Don't Say Gay bill. If you didn't know, the parental rights in education law was passed in Florida, which basically bans talking about like gender identity and sexual orientation for children before 4th grade. This was a really controversial law. People all across the country spoke out about it and also supported it. It's been controversial. On one hand, you have people saying that this basically is stripping people of LGBTQ plus rights and serves only to harm children by keeping them in the dark too long. And then on the other side, you basically have people saying this is in the best interest for children. They don't need to be learning about these things this early on in their lives. They need to just have time to be kids, and up until 4th grade, they don't need to be learning about this kind of stuff. 4th grade here in the United States is about 9-10 years old, I believe, so that's about right when they would cut that, I believe. So Walt Disney Company could lose its copyright to Mickey Mouse if a top Republican senator has his way. Senator Josh Hawley proposed legislation Tuesday that would limit Disney's copyright protection for the iconic cartoon rodent to 56 years. Hawley's proposed legislation comes just weeks after Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed into law a measure that will strip Disney of its autonomous, self-governing status over its theme parks and resorts in and around Orlando. DeSantis signed the legislation after Disney came out in opposition to the parental rights and education law, which critics have dubbed the Don't Say Gay bill. The law bars gender identity or sexual orientation education for children before they reach 4th grade. Hawley's measure, the Copyright Clause Restoration Act, would retroactively apply to Disney's copyright to the original design of Mickey Mouse, who was first introduced nearly a century ago in the 1928 release of the 8-minute-long animated film Steamboat Willie. So initially, the law for copyright basically protected you for like 56 years or whatnot, so whenever you like copyrighted or trademarked something, you would have this long period of time to basically own the rights for it, right? And I think that that's pretty fair. If you come up with a new idea or you come up with something as revolutionary as Mickey Mouse has been to entertainment, you should be able to hold the rights to it for a pretty good period of time, right? And Disney, of course, took full advantage of that time period and has made a shit ton of money from Mickey Mouse. I mean, they got this guy dressing up in a fucking rat suit at their parks. He's on t-shirts at Walmart. He's on cups. There's literally parks designed around him. He's in movies, TV shows. Mickey Mouse is one of the faces of American entertainment. But of course, when you look at the 1928 release and you look at the 56 years or whatever that it was originally, you realize very quickly, considering that Disney still owns the copyright to Mickey Mouse, that something had to have happened. They had to have gotten involved somehow and gotten some sort of privilege to basically extend their copyright. And basically what they've been doing for decades at this point is they'll go to the US government whenever their like copyright's about to end, and they lobby the government, basically meaning that they pay people to like influence government decisions and stuff. So Disney has been basically infiltrating the government in a way to get themselves extra copyright status for this Mickey Mouse stuff, meaning they've basically been cheating the system. And well, this bill would serve to basically reverse that. At the time Steamboat Willie was released, Disney's copyright for Mickey Mouse was protected for 56 years. When the copyright was about to expire in 1984, Disney lobbied the federal government to pass the Copyright Act of 1976, which extended protections to 75 years. In 1998, Disney again lobbied for an extension on the copyright, and the federal government obliged, granting it copyright ownership for 95 years. Now, personally, I don't really support any kind of government lobbying. It's very clear that what Disney was doing was pretty corrupt. I mean, they're basically taking full advantage of the US government to extend their copyright protections on Mickey Mouse so that nobody else can get in the game and use the Mickey Mouse character. If you didn't know, once the copyright is up on a character like this, it's basically in the public domain at that point, meaning that you can virtually use it for any reason that you want to. And of course, if everything went to plan how it was supposed to, and if Disney played fair and everything, Mickey Mouse would have been this way in 1984. So they've basically been playing foul this whole time in order to keep protections over Mickey Mouse, because obviously it's one of their most profitable properties that they own. So of course they want to extend the protections on it and everything. I get that, but at the end of the day, you can't play unfair like this. And then plus, at the same time, I'm pretty sure Disney has made money off of characters and things that were in the public domain. So at that point, man, it's basically hypocrisy for them to want to, you know, keep all their characters and stuff under copyright, but they want to use things that are in the public domain. As a business, I understand why they'd want to do that, because obviously you can make money off of it and everything, but at the end of the day, it just really isn't fair. The latest copyright reform is due to expire in 2024, and top GOP officials have stated that they will not support another extension of copyright protections. Even if the Mickey Mouse from Steamboat Willie enters the public domain, Disney still holds the copyright for other versions of the character, including Sorcerer Mickey from the film Fantasia. The age of Republican handouts to big business is over, Hawley said in a statement. Thanks to special copyright protections from Congress, woke corporations like Disney have earned billions, while increasingly pandering to woke activists. So, obviously, this move is political. You know, these Republicans aren't just coming after Disney out of the blue because, you know, they don't like Disney movies or they actually genuinely believe that Disney's been abusing the system. In fact, you gotta keep in mind that these Republican senators are also the same group of people that for decades have been working directly with Disney to give them these protections that they had, that they're now stripping away. The only reason that they are doing what they're doing is simply because Disney opposed a GOP-led bill in Florida, the Don't Say Gay bill. So this is one of those things where I say right choice, wrong reason. I absolutely stand behind the fact that Disney should have to give up the copyright to the original Mickey Mouse, because it's been almost a decade, or not even a decade, a century at this point, since Steamboat Willie came out, and the fact that they have still copyright protections over it is absolutely ridiculous. It's about time that things like this get into the public domain so that creative people can use them to their advantage and also create awesome art with it, without having to worry about a massive multi-billion-dollar international conglomerate like Disney breathing down the back of their neck. Plus, why does Disney get to have all these special protections anyway? Like, yeah, they've made good movies, they've made a lot of money and whatnot, but at the same time, you're supposed to treat all these companies equally and treat them fairly, and of course, Disney has been getting, you know, all these benefits and everything that you know other companies would not be getting if they were to apply for them too. Do you think that if a small business applied for an extension on copyrights and stuff like that, that the government would be willing to do that? Absolutely not. But it's very clear that this is a political move. It's not being done because Josh Hawley really believes in copyright that deeply or anything like that. And while I do support them doing this, it's not for the reason that they're doing it. I don't think that targeting a company for their political response to your political decisions is really the reason why they should be targeting copyright. I think the reason that the copyright rules here need to be fixed is because, well, they've been skewed unbelievably badly by a company this big, and it's kind of ridiculous that a company this big can have so much influence in the government in the first place. They've been cheating the system for decades. It's about time that they get it back to them. But at the end of the day, that's what's going on. Of course, you know, they'll still hold the copyright to all the other versions of Mickey Mouse and whatnot, including the newer versions, I do believe so. It's not like, you know, Mickey Mouse is going to disappear from Disney parks and Disney shows or anything like that, but they would lose the trademark to the original Mickey Mouse, the Steamboat Willie version of him, which can open up the lanes for artists and people around the world to create their own works with Steamboat Willie now that this could potentially be happening. The bill is considered unlikely to pass because the Democrats currently control the Senate, but at the end of the day, you never really know. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, talking about Disney losing their original copyrights and signing out.